This morning I woke up with a plan. And then I came downstairs to meet a group that I have been enjoying their company for this last week and connecting in a way that is some of the things we dream about. And I was asked a question and everything tanked. I was asked, "How did you sleep last night?" And I started crying. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to say, I slept great. I wanted to override what I was feeling. I wanted to not feel what I've spent a lifetime practicing. And I'm here to override that, to step out of that, to find the courage to step into a new space. There's a mentor of mine, Michael Strassner. He wrote a book called The Skinny Branches. And it's about having the courage to take the steps to do the impossible. And for me, at 65, this has been the impossible. This is my first time speaking in front of a group of people. And it was numbing. And I'm really good at that. I'm really good at learning how not to feel. And for the lifetime that I've been practicing this, half of that at least has been of me as a health coach. And what I discovered was that when I was coaching, the challenge wasn't in supporting people in what looked good on paper, right? We could read the labs and we could look at all those things and understand. It was what was stopping them from doing the things that brought the health, that brought the vitality. And I work with a format right now called positive intelligence. And even before that, I knew that there were saboteurs there. This was a form of self-sabotage. I do it to myself. It's not like I just didn't see it in them. I see it in myself every day, these forms of self-sabotage. And one of the saboteurs is we call the avoider, and I am a master at the avoider. It was proven this morning. I wanted to avoid how I felt. And this isn't a concept that I learned. This is something I've experienced over my lifetime. I actually learned it at a very young age. I was in an extremely abusive childhood, and one where it wasn't just a physical abuse, it was a mental, emotional, and verbal. Being told, even as a young child, that you weren't worthy, that you were a slut, you were a whore, you didn't even know what those words meant yet. And yet, as a child, you learn how to adapt. And so how I first learned how to adapt was I became the good girl. I was good in school. I was be quiet and just do what you're told. I read the room. How do I get to behave today? And when the behaviors didn't change of the people who I trusted to keep me safe, I adapted again. And I became the bad girl. And this lasted for a while into my young adulthood. And these weren't me, the good girl or the bad girl. They weren't me. It was something I learned to adjust a behavior of another person. And when that didn't change, by the time I had the understanding of that at some level, I had already imprinted this so deeply in my ways of being that I just moved on from that bad girl to, well, now let's use drugs and alcohol, another great way of numbing and not feeling things and being able to move forward. And then after a while, that didn't work either. So I started doing what was maybe more socially acceptable. I got busy. I became an entrepreneur. And boy, was I busy. I wore that like a badge of honor. I was so busy, 78 hours a week. I was raising a son as a single parent. I looked so good on paper. That to me was success. And yet, there was still something missing. I was waiting for something. And it was around my mid-40s, and I've been working with clients, and this is interesting. When I first had my practice, when I started it as a body worker, I named my business and I named it Body Awareness Center. I'm like, I didn't understand it then, but I have gotten the opportunity for the last 30 years to explore what that really means. The body is the gateway, and the awareness is the work. And that's what I've gotten to do the last 30 years. And so back to my 40s, there was a sense of waiting, and I really felt it deeply. I remember walking through the neighborhood where I lived and just looking at all the people in their lives, and I was like, is this what my life gets to look like? And nothing felt exciting. And I knew I was waiting deeply for something. It was only a few days later I started journaling, something I had not done for a while, and I started journaling a vision. It wasn't my life as it was, but as it could be. And one of those pieces of my vision, I was on a motorcycle. I'd wanted a motorcycle since I was 20 years old. I had a crush on some biker dude, and I wanted my own Harley Davidson. It wasn't 6 months later, and I was riding my own Harley Davidson. And it may sound simple, but there was something that first time on the motorcycle that I felt myself present for me. I wasn't performing, I wasn't doing, I was fully present for me. I was in the freedom, I was in the present moment, I was in the adventure, and from that point forward, new choices started coming for me. I took month-long motorcycle road trips. I started skiing at 50, downhill skiing. I became a grandmother. And there's nothing like seeing life through the eyes of a child. And that opened something in me. I found something I had been missing. There was curiosity. There was such a deeper presence for me, and there was an aliveness. And that aliveness wasn't like being youthful and young. It was living life with vitality. And yet, I still felt I was waiting for something. And my 60s arrived. It was 2020. COVID hit, my business shut down, so that busyness was pulled right out from under me. And it was a few years later, had just completed coaching, a mindset program, support coaching. And life had gotten a little maybe out of control, and my health tanked. That happens to a lot of people. But for a health coach, it's a little embarrassing. You're like, who wants to come to me? I can't even figure out this stuff myself. And it was bad. I mean, my fatigue, I couldn't get out of bed. I was severely depressed. And we've been speaking in here, there's been some conversations about finding your tribe and finding those few people that you can call to connect with. And I'm so grateful that I had done this support coaching because I had a small tribe. And when that decision was, do I still want to even be alive, hit me, I knew I had to make a call. And I did. And this is where I really started understanding that this was my body telling me something deep and saying, we've got your attention now, you better effing listen. And what's so interesting, I've spent 30 years helping other people listen to their bodies. I have clients that I'm in the moment with them and I know what's happening and I can guide and support, and success stories of people's and of how their lives have changed. Just still, it impacts my heart. It's why I still do what I do. It's why I do what I do. And yet, here I am, and I did not know what was happening. And yet I did. I knew I had been avoiding feelings and not processed things, emotions, trauma, from my whole history. So I'm a master avoider. And what I got to see through this was something I truly sink into and believe in. One is a quote that I heard 30 years ago from Dr. Nelson Bach: "You cannot heal the body till you heal the soul." And we digest and assimilate food the way we digest and assimilate life. The way we digest life lives in our body. So when you're eating your meal, it's more than just processing what the nutrients are. You're also processing your life consistently every day. And learning how to feel the feelings and process those feelings is part of it. You want to digest what has happened, the traumas. And listen, traumas are different for everyone. I said I was extreme abuse. I have witnessed and listened to so many traumas in people's lives. And it could be you were fat. You were told you were fat. A trauma is a trauma to the person receiving it, and how they were able to process it or not. So I've taken the opportunity to start processing my emotions at a level that I really have never connected with before. And I am so grateful to my body for showing up in that way. And positive intelligence is such an incredible tool to use that, because what it does is it pauses you long enough to listen, block out the noise. So I love to end with guiding you all through a PQ rep. Literally, what I'm telling you is that this can take a minute to start processing the emotions. So I'd love for you to all close your eyes. Bring your palms together and just start sliding your palms, feeling the temperature of your hands. Now feel how your fingertips feel touching, the higher sensitivity of that. And if your mind wanders, just come right back to where we are. And now just for a moment, focus on your breath. Don't change it. Just notice. Nothing to fix. Nowhere else to be. And right now, in this moment, you are digesting your life. Thank you.